If you would have told me at the beginning of the season that the Brooklyn Nets season would end getting swept in the first round with no Kyrie Irving, no Kevin Durant, and Ben Simmons not playing, I would have believed you. The Brooklyn Nets have had an extremely chaotic past few seasons. The Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden experiment never really worked. Even if you look back to the 2021 playoffs against the Milwaukee Bucks, where you could argue that if Kevin Durant's foot was a little bit smaller, they would have won that series and maybe even won a championship. But even then, they had injuries and things weren't really going their way. That's why in today's video, we're going to talk about the trade published by Bleacher Report for Damian Lillard to go to the Brooklyn Nets and for Ben Simmons, some draft capital, and Cam Thomas to go over to the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, Ben Simmons, after getting traded from the Philadelphia 76ers, he just really hasn't been much of anything. I think that playoff series against the Hawks really broke him, where he had the layup that he didn't take. And then even with this season with the Nets, there were so many times where he would get the ball and he wouldn't even look to score. He doesn't seem like the same guy at all. And I'm never going to fault a player for going through injuries, because that's something that comes with the territory of being a professional athlete. But there seems to be no desire in Ben Simmons to actually get back to playing the game of basketball at a high level. And it's really disappointing to see, because he was one of the most exciting players coming into the NBA, and people really thought that he could be a top 10, potentially top 5 player in the league. And to see where his career has come so far, it's just really disappointing. Now, on the side of the Portland Trail Blazers, everybody makes the jokes that, Dame is loyal to the soil and he's kind of holding that team hostage, or maybe they're holding him hostage. And honestly, I don't think it's a good situation for him anymore, given his comments where he said that he's not interested in rebuilding. And I don't really see what kind of noise the Portland Trail Blazers can make. This trade, by giving them Ben Simmons, Cam Thomas, and some draft capital, will really hit the reset button for the Portland Trail Blazers, and it'll put Damian Lillard in a position where he can compete. You have Mikal Bridges on the team, who really showed that he can be a first option this year. And I think having him in that secondary role is probably a much better role for him, so he can focus on that defense and also put in, 20 points per game without having the scouting report being based solely on him. That would be a really good situation for the Brooklyn Nets, and I think they could really make some noise. Now, the Cam Thomas piece. Some people are going to be like, yeah, I don't know about getting rid of Cam Thomas. It's a weird situation. Jacques Vaughn refuses to play the guy. He had 3 40-point games. 3 40-point games in a row. Now, the thing with that is, even though he scored 40 points 4 times this season, they're 1-3 in those games. Cam Thomas, the way that he plays the game right now, it's not really conducive to winning basketball. He's not really looking to get his teammates involved and really bring up the level of his team. And since he's not getting consistent minutes, how is he really going to get into that rhythm? How is he going to explore that playmaking part of his game if he gets DNPs in the season? I think sending him over to the Portland Trail Blazers, where he can work with Simmons and they can be the backcourt of the Portland Trail Blazers rebuild, and let him get some opportunity to really shine and play make, or even just be that scoring guard in the backcourt, it could be a really up and up for his career. Big trades like this, of course, they get everybody excited, but for the most part, I'm not sure exactly how I feel about it. If I had to guess, I would say that it's highly likely, given that Joe Tsai, he's gonna make those blockbuster trades. I think that's just a Brooklyn thing. They had the Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce trade. Of course, they brought in Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and had James Harden. So I wouldn't be surprised if I did see Damian Lillard end up as a Brooklyn Net. Now, finally, for the other pieces of the team, you have Seth Curry, who's going to be a free agent this offseason. You have Cam Johnson, who's going to be a free agent this offseason. I don't think Seth Curry is really going to get that much attention in the open market. He is that good player that can come off the bench and give you, 10, 15 points a game. It could be a valuable contributor come playoff time. But if they're able to make that trade for Damian Lillard, I think it would be in their best interest to bring Seth Curry back to maybe even be a starting shooting guard, even though that defense with Damian Lillard and Seth Curry would be horrible. But I think he does still have a role to play on that team. Now, again, if they make that trade, I'm not exactly sure how the salaries will work, but they have to find a way to get Cameron Johnson back. Cameron Johnson, he's an emerging, I wouldn't call him a young player, because he's a lot older than a lot of the folks that came out of his draft class, but he's another one of those 3-and-D players. He's going to work hard. He's going to grit, grind, do what it is that you need him to do, and he can knock down those 3-point shots, which is extremely important in today's game. But I wouldn't be surprised to see another team pick him up, just considering that, he's one of the best young 3-and-D players in the league. Let me know what you all think. Is this a realistic trade for the Brooklyn Nets and the Portland Trail Blazers? Would you like to see Damian Lillard stop being held hostage by the Portland Trail Blazers? I personally think this could be a really good trade for both teams. Less for the Portland Trail Blazers because you're getting Ben Simmons back, who basically isn't even an NBA player anymore. But again, let me know in the comment section. Appreciate you all watching the video. Stay tuned for the next one. Peace.